In this video, we're going to dive into the 7 biggest ambition killers and how to avoid them. We're going to dive into the reason most people are sleepwalking through life and how deadly that can actually be. And we're also going to dive into how to rewire your thinking and how to start getting results right away in something I call the results equation that I've never shared. Hey, it's Peter Voogd. I'm excited for you guys to be here. Welcome to YEL 2.0, the Young Entrepreneur Lifestyle Podcast, where we really focus on helping you build a life and a business on your terms. And thank you so much to everyone who subscribed. Whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're listening in your car, means the world to us that you're subscribed and you believe in us enough to spend your precious time learning and educating yourself. So much respect. We promise we will always try to give you the most tactical, the most valuable, the most relevant and comprehensive value out there, because I know there's a lot of fluff and BS, and one of the most valuable things on the planet is your time. So we don't take it lightly that you're spending it with us. So here we go. I'm going to talk about rewiring your thinking, killing your inner villain, and really ripping up the script and starting to create a real life of massive fulfillment. By the way, I made a decision years ago. I think I've told you about this, but one of the biggest keys to getting on camera and to putting yourself out there is to give up the need to be perfect, to be authentic. Give up the need to be liked, to be yourself. Such a big monumental moment in my life when I just gave up the need to be liked by everybody, and I didn't want to go through every single edit and make sure my team was taking out when I said or taking out when I messed up. There's not enough authenticity in the world. So if I mess up, I'm just going to keep going because I'm a human being, right? So I just want to let you guys know that. Okay. So rewiring your thinking, okay? Most people are looking for all these outside circumstances for the answers, and they can't really figure out why nothing's changing. They always have a lack of resourcefulness mindset. There's so many lies people tell themselves, and as you get rid of the lies you tell yourself, as you figure out what the truth is versus what you've created subconsciously, you'll start to see real results, and you'll start to feel your fulfillment go up. Here's some of the lies people tell themselves, and I really want to dive into these because these could be detrimental to your future. Not enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough experience. I don't have the right people. I'm not an A player. I'm too young for this. I can't attract an A player. I'm too old. We don't have the tools or technology. We don't have the right plan. I'm in a small town. I don't have the right leadership around me. I don't have resources. I don't have the skills. And there's all kinds of different things, right? I've personally seen these excuses ruin people's businesses and relationships and bank accounts. And majority of the people will say they don't have the resources. And this resource belief structure keeps most people from ever really building a life on their terms. And it keeps a lot of people at 6 figures. And it keeps them from building a world-class life and business. Leaders and successful entrepreneurs always find a way to maximize their resources. Whatever they are, as little as they may be, they don't believe in limited resources, and they believe in being creative and resourceful. The ultimate resource, from here on out, you have to understand the ultimate resource are the feelings and emotions that make you resourceful. And resourcefulness is the ultimate resource. So what emotions and what things have you experienced where you became more resourceful? Like confidence, vision, creativity, frustration, determination, hunger, ambition, right? These are the ultimate resources. If you don't have the money, but you're creative enough, can you find the money? With enough determination and enough commitment, you can make it work with few resources. So the ultimate resource is internal emotions. Waiting for your back to be against the wall. Trying to provide for your wife or husband when you know you're struggling, you have a baby on the way. You're going to find a way. And a lot of people wait until they're struggling or until their back's against the wall to become resourceful. I challenge people not to wait. Okay, that's a big key, is don't wait till your back's against the wall. So think about what false beliefs or lies that have held you back in your past, right? If resourcefulness is the ultimate resource, where are some times where you've maybe blamed external circumstance when you could have been more resourceful? This has happened many times in my life, and once I lock into a different level of mentality and thinking, and I get around people who came from nothing and had no resources but made it happen, it starts to rewire how I think about the situation, right? Because everything starts with a belief that you can be resourceful. So let me explain this. There's a diagram that has potential on the top. So there's potential, then there's actions, then there's results, then there's beliefs. A lot of people think you have to believe. And I think that's a myth. And I think people are lying to themselves. I didn't believe in myself until after I made 6 figures. But I still woke up. I still wrote my goals down. I still got around higher level people who did believe. And I still took action like I believe. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you, believe you can make 6 figures. Believe you can make 7 figures. Believe you can reach 1 million people. Because that's BS. You're not going to believe until you see some results and progress and get around other people who believe. So when someone says you got to believe, I think that's false. That's just like hype and myths that our society puts out there. Now, it's important to believe. Hope's important. I'm not saying that. But if you can literally fully believe without a fiber of your body that you're going to make 7 figures when you come from a small town or you've never made 6, I call BS, right? So here's how this resourceful mindset works. You have potential. Now you have to understand potential's endless and limitless, and there's no limit to potential. Most people use 10% of their potential, and it's 3 or 4% if they're stressed, right? So you're using 3 to 4% of your potential and brain. If you unlock it and get around other people who have maximized their resources and you understand potential is limited, then you take bigger action towards your goals. You become more resourceful. When you take bigger action, you get bigger results, and then your belief gets higher. So when I started in my previous company, when I started seeing other people make good money at my age, I'm like, oh, it's possible. I didn't believe I could do it. I was from a small town of 7,000 people. No one ever was making 7 figures around me. I didn't even think about being a millionaire. But when I saw people making 6, then I started seeing what was possible. I took bigger action. I got better results. And my belief increased a little bit. Now it's the opposite. If you tell yourself a story that you're not made to be successful, people where I come from don't succeed, right? Your potential is lowered in your mind, and you take smaller action. AKA, and in turn, you get smaller results, and your belief gets lower, and your potential gets lower, and it's a downward spiral. So understanding that you have to be resourceful versus look for external circumstances, and making sure you understand the limited potential, that is the start of everything. And taking action without the right belief about your potential won't change anything. So even if you take big action without understanding potential, it's not going to change as much, okay? So here's what you have to ask yourself. What's your story? I'm going to give you some questions to challenge yourself with and to really challenge your intellect and to expand your capacity. The mind is like plastic, not elastic. So when you stretch out your mind, when you expand your capacity, it stays that way. It doesn't go back, right? So that's why sometimes people feel like they get stressed or their head's going to explode and they're expanding their capacity. I'm learning Spanish with my wife. We want to learn Spanish before my son is born. And we're not fluent, but we're 30-40%. We can speak some Spanish. And I feel my capacity being expanded, and I feel my head hurting. When we're done with the 2-hour lesson, I'm like, man, this hurts. But I feel myself learning Spanish, so it's very motivating, and progress is the ultimate motivation, right? But my story was, I can't learn another language. Right when I'm saying, yes, I can. Some people know 4 or 5 languages. I was in Barcelona, and I met this she was like 23. We met her going up to a restaurant, and she spoke 5 languages. She was 23. So you got to have examples of people around you that you've met or that you've studied or experienced to say, you know what? If she can learn 5, why the heck can't I learn 2? Just because most people in society don't know 2 languages, that's irrelevant. That's their fault for cutting themselves short. I want to learn 2 languages, and I'm doing it for my son because I want him to learn 3 or 4, because babies can learn up to 6 or 7 languages by like 6 or 7. They just lack the teachers around them. So my story was, I can't learn Spanish. But then I'm like, wait, why can I not learn Spanish? Of course I can. Then I took the action. Now we're learning Spanish. So what's your story you tell yourself around money, around health, around impact, around leadership, around relationships, right? What are a couple events in your life that have shaped you and made an impact on you? Think about this. These are very powerful questions, and this is something I do in deep dive trainings, in masterminds, and with my inner circle. So this is something I've never really brought to YouTube or a podcast or anything I've listened to, but I want you to understand the importance of starting at the foundation of who you are and what you tell yourself when no one's looking. So what are a couple events that have shaped you and made an impact? Who's to blame for that event? And how has that event shaped your life or affected your life? A family that always complains about money, that says, hey, we can't afford that. Hey, we can't afford that. Hey, don't get an appetizer. Put that away. Money doesn't grow on trees. That's going to subconsciously affect your way of how you view money, right? So what has those events cost you, and what will it cost you in the future if you don't change or rewrite your story? So think about the events. Think really deep. If you're driving, pause it right now. If you're watching this, pause it. Don't just go through and overload yourself with information. Get addicted to the outcome of what the information can do to you if you actually do what most won't. Most people are going to keep listening. Oh, that sounded great. I love this advice, but they don't actually dig deep. Be the select few that actually invest time, mental energy, and focus into this activity. So now change how you look at your story. Get disgusted with your old story and create a new one. Maybe you've already done this. I don't know. But if you're not 100% where you want to be, if you're not living the life that you dream of on your terms, and it's 2019, something has to change. Bottom line, something has to change. Okay? So let me give you some examples. So here's a simple example. I have never been a runner. I don't like running. I don't feel like I can run past a mile. Like, I always get tired. I play basketball, which is great. And I feel like I'm somewhat athletic and active, but I'm always like, I can't run long distances. And I've said that for my whole life. So I got sick of saying that like 2 weeks ago. I was in Vegas, and I'm like, something motivated me. I interviewed Ryan Garcia, who's a young fighter who runs 5 miles every morning. There's a lot of little examples of like, I have to push myself. Now, this may be funny to some people because a lot of people can run 10, 15, 20 miles straight. But I've never ran straight more than like 3 or 4 miles. And one day I'm just like, I can run long distances. What am I limiting myself for? I'm running 3 miles today. And I ran 3 miles for the first time, straight, no stopping. And just that capacity that was expanded was amazing. But every time I told myself I don't run long distances, then I never did it, right? If you tell yourself you're big boned, you won't try and lose the weight and get in real shape. Like, if you tell yourself, I'm not a runner, I'm not a cook, I'm not a good lover, I'm not the girlfriend type, I'm not the boyfriend type, I shouldn't get married. Whatever you tell yourself becomes your identity if you repeat it enough. And that plays in your head until eventually it becomes reality, right? So think about that. I'm not a patient person. I used to say I'm not a patient person. I'm a really impatient driver. I have road rage. And then I said, no, I'm not. I'm super patient. It's mentally challenging yourself. And I say I'm patient. In the last couple weeks, I've been a super patient driver that doesn't care if people pass me. I go super smooth because I want to make it a smooth ride for the people around me. Super simple and a little bit tedious and tiny, right? It's not a big deal if I'm a patient driver or not, but I've been telling myself I'm not. And that subconsciously affects how I drive. I'm not a good listener. You won't be if you tell yourself that, right? I don't deserve to make $1 million. Where'd that come from? I can't build a $50 million business. Well, how many examples have you seen of people building $50 million businesses that came from a similar situation than you? There's a ton out there. Have you researched? Right? So think about what stories you're telling yourself that are holding you back. Right? Think about that. So changing your story starts with what has stopped you from becoming the best version of yourself in the past? What has killed your momentum in the past? Literally, think about what has stopped you in the past from becoming the best version of yourself. Say them out loud and call BS on each of those excuses. Here's how you know if an excuse is valid. You hold it up to the light and you say, okay, has anyone else ever had a similar situation or this similar excuse and had a similar situation that I have and got past it and became successful? Hold it up to the light. If the answer is yes, call BS. Recraft your story and turn limiting beliefs into limitless beliefs, right? For the next 30 days, state your new empowering story. Share with someone that you respect, like a positive person. Share your new empowering story, right? Evaluate what limitations others have given you and literally start to change your story. Like, what changes would you make if others' opinions did not matter? Really think about that. What changes would you make if other people's opinions did not matter? That's a game changer. So really, really think about that. Okay, I'm going to give you an example of how this helped me in business tactically, so you guys can kind of understand where I'm coming from as well. Okay, so there was, when I was first getting into sales, 2007 or 8, I was first getting into sales. I'm going to pull up a speech I gave a while back that kind of sets the example, that really will share exactly what I went through and the mindset shift, right? So hold on one second. Then we're going to go through the 7 ambition killers, and then I'll challenge you guys to really take action on this. All right, hold on. Should have had this ready, but I didn't think I was going to talk about it. All right, here we go. So when I was first getting into entrepreneurship and sales, I really had no clue what I was doing, right? And what I used to tell myself was I was too young. So this is my mindset getting into direct sales. Let me pull it up. Hold on. By the way, if you like this, if you're getting good value, smash the like button and let us know what a breakthrough has been. What is your story that you've told yourself in the last 10, 15, 20 years? I really want to know if you're resonating with this and if you're someone that maybe has already ripped up their old story, or someone that has been working on that, or maybe this is finally the time that you're going to break through. I challenge you. Write down below and let me know. Okay? So here's my old convictions, by the way. When I first got into entrepreneurship and I was trying to build a sales team, I'm not a good trainer. I'm too young to lead a team. I don't have enough experience. When I'm stressed, I should take time off. I don't have a good territory and it's holding me back. Great people aren't going to work for me. I don't have enough experience. My parents weren't into entrepreneurship. I had every excuse, and the result of this is I was working 80 hours a week. I was losing money at age 22, and I went dead broke. I was in the bottom 10% of my company. So this story I was telling myself did not serve me, aka I was in the bottom 10% of my company, broke, discouraged, frustrated, and I almost quit. Then I got a mentor, then I got around higher level people, then I started thinking about potential and seeing examples of people crushing it, and I'm like, wait, what the heck? I kind of got in tune with who I was and what I could create if I really got focused. Here's my new convictions a year and a half later. I can get anyone to succeed, and my age is irrelevant. When I focus on something, it will magnify and multiply. So don't focus on what you can't do. Don't focus on what you don't want. Focus on what you want. Stress is just a lack of results. I used to think stress was I need to take time off and relax. No, stress is usually a lack of results. You got to work more strategically and work more, right? That was my philosophy. You're always going to go what your beliefs are. That was my new belief, and it caused me when I was stressed to figure out the solution and to get results. Marketing and advertising is a huge part of our business, and referrals are the best, most effective form of marketing. So I focused on referrals. I am always 100% in control of my recruiting and results at all times. My territory is the best territory there is because it takes a lot of kids that have had nothing given to them, the rougher kids, and I could really motivate them to go crazy in sales. It used to be I had a ghetto rough territory. I don't like it. I have a great territory because I can really believe in these kids because no one else believed in them. The result, fast forward, I worked 30 hours a week and I made over $300K at age 24. Same territory, same person, same office building, different beliefs, way different results. That's the importance of different convictions. Okay? So I want to end with the 7 biggest ambition killers, because I think finally getting to understand your story needs to be changed, but still understanding how to get rid of the distractions and how to not have these come up when you are trying to rewrite your story is important. So the first ambition killer is people are too busy being busy versus driving real results. So productivity is doing things that move the needle and produce big growth in your company, not just maintain. So what's your story around productivity, right? Anything that someone can do 80% as good as you, delegate it. Number 2 is writing circumstances versus a concrete vision. When you go a couple days without planning, evaluating, analyzing, and really thinking things through and committing to an ideal outcome, you start to waver in your emotions and your mood and circumstances, right? Number 3, consistent excuses that eventually become beliefs and reality. When you tell yourself something consistently, then you're going to make it real, right? Too many ideas, not enough execution and implementation, low clarity around planning or poor planning. If you tell yourself you're a poor planner, you will become one. Remember, if pressure creates anxiety, you haven't prepared enough. 6 is analyzing versus emotions. Start thinking strategically and use your your intelligence over your emotions when you make decisions, right? It's a huge key. So when you're making a decision, don't make it unless you're in a good state of mind and you know you're in a state of mind that is using your intelligence, not in a bad mood. Never make a decision when you're hungry, tired, frustrated, lonely. Make a decision when you're in a peak state of mind, right? And that's really it. I just wanted to go through a couple of those things because they've been festering on my mind. So my challenge to you is make sure you hit the like button if you enjoy this content. My challenge for you is this. Think about what stories are holding you back and what is propelling you forward, and rewrite that story. Rewrite that story and start to crush it these next 6 months to a year. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you smash the like button, comment below what your story is and what you're rewriting, and I look forward to talking with you guys in the comments. See ya. Hey, what's up guys? If you like this video, I think you'll really enjoy these videos right here. And also please make sure you subscribe, hit the subscribe button below. We have a lot of amazing content coming out. See you guys soon.